as we were saying at the very, very beginning, you know, when I was introducing just a second ago where we are, you know, UK Games Expo and everything, well, this man is guilty for getting everybody here at the UK Games Expo, because Richard Denning is not just the person who's organized everything. He's also a keen gamer and a keen designer. And we have a game that, Richard, you have organized. Welcome. I say welcome, which is quite ironic because
I said welcome to you.
Exactly, it's your show. Hey, but anyway, this is your game.
Yes.
Norse mythology, discovering new gods, challenges, tons of stuff going on here. Tell me about the origins of the game. Where did you get the idea from? Where does this come from? What are you planning on doing with it?
Well, I've always been quite interested in Anglo-Saxon and Norse mythology. It's ironic, actually, that a lot of us know more about Greeks legends and Roman legends and things than those of us from Northern Europe about our own actual mythologies of the Norse universe or the Anglo-Saxon universe, which is basically the same.
Right.
So I've always been quite interested in that mythology. I'm also, in my spare time, do a bit of writing as well, and one of the things I was researching was this whole mythology for a little book I was doing, and I thought actually there could be a game in this as well. And I started thinking about how I could turn the mythology into a game. So that's really where it came from.
And Nine Worlds.
Nine Worlds,
came up.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit. Everybody who, this is going to sound very cheesy, cliche, and everything. Sorry, but everybody who's seen Thor should know about.
Yes. Thor's the thing people have got with the mythology, isn't it? Thor and Odin, maybe. And,
so that's the bare minimum you need to know about, guys. If you haven't seen Thor, this may sound a bit weird, but never mind that. Explain to us. These are the 9 words of the Norse mythology.
Yes. There are nine worlds in the Norse universe. The one that we come from is Midgard, or Earth. Humans live. The gods, including Thor, live in Asgard. Yep. And in the Thor movie, they also mention Jotunheim, where the sort of giants come from. The other worlds are Alfheim, where the elves live, Vanaheim, which is another race of gods called the Vana come from, Nidavellir of the dwarfs, Svartalheim of the dark elves, Muspelheim is the land of fire, and Niflheim a land of ice. And there's also sometimes amongst this, or sometimes separately, Helheim, which is hell, the underworld. So those are the 9 worlds. And each in the game we've gone for a power that's sort of linked to the world in some way, to advance you in the game.
Okay. Yeah. So, in a nutshell, what is the objective of the game?
Right. Well, the idea is that the gods of Asgard are looking for a new god to join them. Loki has been imprisoned for his various crimes.
Yay.
And now they want a new god. And the idea is they're looking to the kind of mortal realms or the other realms for a potential new god to join them. So the players represent beings from the other worlds, either elves or humans or dwarfs or fire spirits or whatever. And the idea is they're competing against each other to try and to gain the most divinity points and become the god at the end of the game. That's the idea. And they do that a variety of ways. The primary way that you can get divinity points is by passing challenges. Right. And each turn of the game, everyone has the option to do a challenge to score points. They can also, in Asgard, the world power of Asgard is to just directly buy divinity points there. Okay. You can also get divinity points by artifacts such as these, which you'll be getting in the course of the game. Right. Here's just a few of them. Rosingamen, Freya, and a symbol of Frigga, and a few others. There's Thor's hammer amongst this lot, and so on. And each of these will have a function in the game, but also will score you points towards your objective. And the final way is to visit as many worlds as possible, because each world that you visit where you manage to do something, do a challenge or activate the world power, you put a little cube in here and you get points for that, and the more worlds you visit, the more bonus points you get for having done that.
At the end of the game, I can imagine, at the end of the game can only be one more god.
Yes,
or goddess
yeah.
joining the ranks of Asgard.
Yes.
Is this a competitive game? Is it a cooperative
It's
kind
definitely
of?
a competitive game, yes.
How do people compete with each other? Is there a backstabbing element to
Well,
it?
the players will each come from one of the. Actually, could I get you to get that piece out of there, please?
Yes.
Each of the players will come from a different world of the universe. So put him on the time over there, and this one here. Now, this is say for example the five players.
Okay.
That's the starting point. But at any given time, no more than 2 players can be in any one world.
Okay.
And when there are 2 players in a world, no more people can go in. Plus, when there are 2 players in the world, they will fight a duel against each other.
Okay.
And the loser will go to hell, which
Sounds rightly so.
there are penalties for doing.
Yep.
So the one thing is that you are trying to get around these worlds, collecting resources as you go, some of which you will use on other worlds, and other people have got to the world that you want to go to. So then what do? Do you go elsewhere and bide your time, or do you go in and have a scrap with them?
Okay.
So there's competition for that. There's also competition for choosing the order of the challenges, because that'll be done in player order. So the challenge that you really would like to do, maybe somebody else has already taken that option already. So it's most of the competition is about the moving around and I wanted to go there and now what do I do? But also there's a bit in the choice of the challenges. Yeah.
Is there an element of chance in the game? Are there going to be any type of dice?
There's no dice mechanics in it at all. There's a chance as to exactly what challenges come up.
Right.
In that there'll only be 1 card per player, and there are 8 card potential challenges, so it might be that in a particular turn a card with the challenge that you'd like to do doesn't happen to come up.
Right.
So that's about the only chance element really that there is in it. The one mechanic of chance is this idea of weird.
Right.
So when it comes to doing the challenges, maybe I should explain how the challenges work to make it clear. So at the moment, let's assume that you've got a little bit better at magic and you are on a 2 or 3 magic there. This is the chart that we use for the players, and it tells them how good they are at magic, combat, cunning, and strength. What their special ability is, and each race will have their own special ability. Elves can't die, for example, and there are other abilities. This is a world they don't really want to go to if they can avoid it, because it's their sort of negative world or anti-world, if you like, that they're going to suffer if they go to. So let's assume that this elf is on a 3 magic, and here are your challenges. In player order, everybody will choose which challenge to do. All right, but say you've chosen this one because that's got a magic symbol, and that means you will use your magic here. Okay, and your score is a 3. Their challenge rating is a 2. All right, now you have both you and the challenge have a set of these cards,
Right.
And you will choose one of those. As you choose them, you then turn it over, and you can't use it again until you've gone through all of the 5 cards.
Right.
2 3s, 2 4s, and 2 5s.
Okay.
So you choose a number. Let's say you decide to go with a 3. So you're now on 6. Okay. They're on a 2, and they're going to turn over this card in a minute. Okay. You're going to be able to modify that a little bit by adding cubes, and the cubes are the essence of the world. And as you go around the world, each cube will have a cube of its own colour.
Right.
And the cubes are used in lots of different parts of the game. They're used to activate the world powers.
Okay.
But they're also used here in the challenges, because each cube that you add will add 1 to your score if it matches the colour of the world you're on, or half if it's you need 2 cubes if it's from another world.
Okay.
To add 1. All right. So you'll look at 3. I'm on a 6. Do I feel lucky? You will then be turning this card over. All right. But just when you think life's getting easy and you've done all the maths, okay, so you know where you are,
Yeah.
you then turn over your weird. Weird is the concept of fate in the Anglo-Saxon world.
Okay.
And they believed that we were all bound to fate and you couldn't avoid it. All right. So fate. Well, you'll flip this over when you've chosen your not before you've chosen the card.
Yep.
You can still do the maths afterwards, but not before you've chosen. And they all have different abilities. And the examples here. Let's have a go. This one here means you can't use any potions or artifacts to affect it. These are good ones. That one would mean if you win, you get a free potion. If you win, you get a free divine blessing card. Whereas this one's a bad one. If you will gain a wound, and wound that will send you to hell.
Okay.
but you'll get a bonus point for passing the test. So the weird affects the maths in some way, and there's some they sometimes increase the challenge rating or decrease it, and you're never quite sure until you've flipped it over. So we put that in to allow a little bit of variation, so to stop I can work out exactly the score that I need. You can never be 100% sure where you are. So that's your challenge, and then you finally turn over the challenge card, and that's a 5. So they're on 7. You're on 6. You just lost. Okay, right, and you take a wound and you go to hell. Right, so that's and you try and avoid going to hell if you can.
Yeah, I've been there. Not nice.
So you try and do the maths so that you can be fairly certain of passing, and but then the balance comes in because these cubes are used both in buying stuff on the various worlds and in the challenges. You want to conserve them, as much as you can do. So there's that's that play off about, do I really make sure about this, or do I keep my cubes back because I want to go to the next world and do something with it? So that's how challenges work.
The mechanics, by the way that you explained them to me, they sound pretty solid already. How much play testing have you done on this? How close to finishing it is it?
It's had a fair amount of play testing. I mean, the reason I brought it here, 2 years ago, just before I brought out the Great Fire London game, I brought the prototype to the expo, and it was very good for getting lots of feedback and for that sort of like hard play testing where you throw it at people who've not played it before and then see what questions they ask and where the rules fall apart and this sort of thing. But it's it's had quite a lot of play testing, so yes, it generally is fairly solid, but it's still probably a year or so away, I think, from polishing. Yes.
So what's the next step for you? I mean, you have everything pretty much done in there. Yes, this may still need a little bit of mechanic polishing and so on and so forth. Where do you want to go with this game? What's the end?
Well, it's a very good question, because I mean, I sort of co-published Great Fire of London with Prime Games, the company. Now they're no longer publishing things, so I'd have to decide, do I already make the final step of actually doing it entirely myself, or do I look? I'm going to have a chat with a few of the companies here that sometimes partner designers and see if there's any interest in it, and I'll see what the feedback and the response is at the show really, and then try and make a decision following on from there.
For the people out there who might be now interested in taking a look at it and having a go and help you with the playtest, is there a print and play version anywhere that people can get hold of?
No, there isn't yet. That's a good idea. I'll have to have a look at that. It wouldn't be difficult to do. Most of these are available in PDFs now, so I could easily have a look at doing something like that. I might do that.
And one last question, just to wrap it up. Why should people be interested in this game? What is it new or special or interesting about it that is not out there yet?
Well, at the time that I actually did it, I thought, well, actually, there's not much else being done on this mythology. I think there is the odd of the game that I came across since, although I think it's a little bit different from the other ones that I've seen. Particularly, this is competitive. I've seen cooperative games in the Norse universe, but not because in the obvious one. But this is a competitive one.
Right.
So it's about so there's a bit more ability for the old backstabbing and things like that in that universe. So it's fairly easy to pick up and play, and I think if you're interested in mythology, I mean, I like strong themes in my games and things. They tend to be driven from the theme element and then try and look at what mechanics can make the themes work, rather than thinking of a mechanic and then trying to get a theme that works with it. Tend to go from that side of things. So I think if the theme appeals, hopefully, it'll appeal to players.
Well, I would say best of luck with it, because it already feels like a fun game to play. I have the feeling, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you might have done a ton of reading to get everything sorted and balanced and make sure that everything is mythologically correct.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of reading around it, yes, researching the artifacts and things like that, try and make those sound right. And fit what they're supposed to be doing. So, Freya's the Brazilian Freya was a necklace which had magical powers. So we've given you bonuses of magic and things. If you're
not going to have any historians knocking at your door saying, "What have you done with my mythology?" This is wrong.
Hopefully not. So.
Well, best of luck, and now people, you can start looking forward for 9 Worlds. Keep an eye on it.